We're asking everyone, we're exploring the future of religion.
Right.
So, in your understanding, what would you say is, in terms of if religion's going to meet the challenges that we have, which you laid out very well in different ways, the political challenges, the ecological challenges, which are dramatic at this point in history, and we don't necessarily have that much time to change them. What's the most important things that religion has to come to terms with and change as it moves forward the next decade, next 2 decades, do you feel?
Well, everybody recognizes that the first thing that has to happen is for religion to overcome the triumphalism and chauvinism that exists within each religious tradition, so that we can affirm the unity of all humanity, the oneness of everyone on this planet, and our common set of interests, and recognize that there are many different spiritual paths to it, connecting to the highest truth or to the God of the universe, or whatever is the appropriate language that you want to use, that there is not just one path, but there are many paths. Mm-hmm. So this is step one. But step one only gets us to the level of common rationality that most people already have. That is, most people do know that all the major religious traditions are saying the same thing in different languages, and that they need to overcome their Tower of Babel kind of relationship and get together. But then, secondly, we need to get those religious and spiritual traditions to take seriously their own message, that the world could be based on love, on kindness, and generosity and compassion, instead of just using that as cheerleaders to get people into church or synagogue or mosque or into a Buddhist meditation, to instead insist on developing a strategy to change the world so that the world would reflect those values, not just have an escape from the world where we can nourish our highest values, but instead take those spiritual visions outside of the religious community into the mainstream of political and economic social change.
Would you say then that that's also one really important aspect for religions to change? That's one thing we've been thinking about, is not just the triumphalism and exclusivism, which is so important, but also the doctrines that have been so fundamental to most traditions, not necessarily Judaism, but so fundamental to most traditions, of a kind of a fundamental escapism where the world is not necessarily redemptive in the way that you're speaking about.
The world needs a different spiritual approach that is based on the concept of tikkun, Tikkun. It means to transform and heal and repair this world. Not to escape into some other world, not to think of this as a mere prelude to the real reality. This is the world that needs to be healed. This is the world that needs to be transformed. The spiritual reality traditions have important things to add to this world, but they need to focus on how to bring about a world of kindness and justice, of compassion and generosity here, and to take those not as just abstract expressions, but concrete realities, to make them real. And that means to transform the world in such a way that everyone gets to share the resources of this planet equally, and everybody orients towards the planet with awe and wonder, and not simply in a utilitarian way, and everybody responds to other human beings in a non-utilitarian way, and recognizing each other human being as a partial embodiment of the God of the universe.
How are we doing?
We're doing terribly at the present moment. We are very far away from having the religious and spiritual values of the human race being taken seriously, not by the rest of the population, and not by the religious people either. The religious people use these words without actually meaning them, and we need to get people to mean them.
How long do we have before we're in trouble?
We're in trouble right now, and unfortunately, the way it works is that the people who are most in trouble are those who are are suffering from the effects of the advanced industrial world. We've managed to concentrate the worst effects of the global ecological crisis on those who are most powerless in the third world. So they will feel it first, but nevertheless, the people in the advanced industrial societies are feeling it at a different level. They're feeling it at the level of the breakdown of loving relationships, the spiritual vacuity of life, and its manifestation in everything from divorce to drug abuse and alcohol abuse, and to in deep emptiness in daily life.
Your own tradition, Judaism, what do you feel is the most important thing for Judaism to change as it moves forward into the future? Because it's playing a central role in a lot of the mythos that's driving a lot of people's ideas about this time in history.
Yeah. I mean, Judaism, like the other religions on this planet, is deeply distorted has within it triumphalist and chauvinist elements that must be overcome. And they manifest most distortedly in the way that Israel is treating Palestinians today, without the loving and caring and generosity that have been the central message of Judaism. So Judaism has lost its way. It is not a manifestation of its own highest values, and it needs a tremendous tikkun, an internal transfer. Judaism needs an internal transformation so that it can be, in its actual practice, an embodiment of the love, generosity, kindness, and social justice and peace values that we talk about but don't actually live.
Take me forward 40 years, something like that. What does religion look like? Do we have a new tradition? Do we have new religious traditions developing? Do we have the same traditions that are radically changed? What do things look like?
There needs to be and there will be a renewal within every religious tradition. We do not want to see a merging of all religious traditions into one. Instead, we want to keep the variety of religious approaches and that have each within them sets of great deal of wisdom and a great deal of value in their specific traditions. Each path is an appropriate path. The key is not to focus so much on what's the right path as to get clarity about the goal, and to really keep that goal in front of one in a very real way and continually reevaluate what one is doing in light of the goal. Is this path generating more kindness and generosity and love? If it isn't, can it be altered? If it can't be changed from within, discard it and go to create something new.